Have you ever met someone who moves through life like the world was designed around their intent? They never chase, never scramble, never beg. And yet somehow everything, people, money, timing, opportunity, bends in their direction like metal to a magnet. They are not the loudest in the room. They are not the kindest. They are not even always the smartest. But they possess something rarer, a darker understanding of how people work, how power flows, and how reality obeys those who refuse to be passive. They do not ask, "Do I deserve this?" They ask, "How do I take this?" That difference in question is the birth of control. Most people are raised on fairy tales of fairness, karma, and moral balance. They grow up believing life is a court where the innocent are rewarded and the guilty punished. But Machiavelli tore that illusion apart. He wrote not for the good, but for the effective, not for the innocent, but for the ambitious. His world was not about justice, it was about results. And whether you like it or not, you live in that world. This is not a bedtime story. This is a weapon manual. 10 darkest laws to get whatever you want, drawn from the cold logic of Machiavelli and sharpened for a world that pretends to be civilized while it quietly runs on fear, self-interest, and perception. If you are looking for comfort, stop here. If you are looking for fairness, close this. But if some part of you is tired of begging, tired of explaining, tired of waiting for your turn while weaker minds eat what was meant for you, then keep listening. Because power does not come to the polite, it comes to the prepared. The first dark shift is simple. You must stop trying to win in a game you did not design. The rules you were given, be nice, be patient, be transparent, are not rules of power. They are rules of control. They keep you soft, predictable, and safe to ignore. The moment you understand that, something inside you snaps. You stop asking, "Why are people like this?" and start asking, "How do I use the fact that people are like this?" The first dark law is brutal clarity of desire. You cannot get whatever you want if you still lie to yourself about what that is. Most people never achieve anything close to their potential because they are ashamed of their own hunger. They want status but call it recognition. They want wealth but call it security. They want control but call it stability. They water down their desires so they can still feel like good people in their own story. But diluted desire produces diluted action. Machiavelli understood that ambition is only dangerous when hidden from yourself. Once you admit what you truly want, power, influence, freedom, advantage, you gain a single sharp direction instead of 1,000 soft excuses. Dark law number 1 is this: stop moralizing your goals. Name them honestly. You want to win. You want to rise. You want to be chosen over others. You want to bend the odds. Say it. Own it. Because once you do, your mind stops negotiating with guilt and starts organizing around strategy. Clarity of desire is not about telling the world. It is about telling yourself. In silence. Late at night when there is no audience to impress. You look at your life like a cold accountant and ask, what do I really care about? If it is money, stop pretending you care about everyone's opinion. If it is power, stop pretending you are driven by random passion. If it is freedom, stop pretending you want the comfort of belonging. Once you are honest, every yes and every no becomes sharper. You stop wasting years on connections that do not move you closer to what you want. You stop apologizing for being intense. You stop explaining your vision to people who secretly hope you fail so they can feel better about never trying. Dark desire is not cruel. It is precise. It cuts away distraction and leaves only direction. That is the beginning of getting whatever you want. Because the universe does not reward vague requests. It rewards those who know exactly what they are willing to burn for. The second dark law is to stop asking for permission and start moving as if your path is already decided. Humans follow certainty, not morality. They are drawn to the person who behaves like the outcome is inevitable. Machiavelli understood this when he wrote that men judge more by the eye than by the hand. They do not examine your soul. They examine your motion. The world does not pause to ask if you are worthy. It tests if you are sure. That is why half-hearted ambition dies quickly. You say you want something, then wait for external confirmation before committing fully. You look around to see if it is realistic, if others approve, if it fits your current identity. But power comes to those who move first and justify later. Dark law number 2. Create the aura of inevitability. Walk, talk, and act as if your success is not up for debate, but simply a matter of sequence. This is not delusion. It is direction. You do not ignore obstacles. You simply refuse to let them shake your inner verdict. You treat doubts like weather, annoying but irrelevant to the journey. The more consistent your movement, the more others begin adjusting to your direction. Some will resist you at first, mocking your certainty. Eventually, they start explaining your success as if it was obvious all along. That is the comedy of human nature. They doubt you until doubt becomes embarrassing. To create inevitability, you need discipline in 2 things: your language and your posture. Never speak like you are waiting to see what happens. Never say, "If I make it." Say, "When it lands." Never frame your dreams as fragile ideas. Frame them as unfolding realities. Your body must match that energy. The way you enter a room, sit, stand, and respond when challenged all broadcasts your internal verdict. If you flinch, the spell breaks. If you remain still, the room rearranges around you. People secretly want to believe in someone who believes in themselves without shaking. Becoming that person is dark because it means divorcing yourself from the collective addiction to doubt as a form of bonding. You stop shrinking to make people comfortable. You rise and let them choose whether to adapt or stay behind. The third dark law is weaponized perception. Reality is not what is true. Reality is what people can be made to believe. The powerful have always known this. They do not waste time screaming, but that is not fair. They study what people fear, admire, and envy, then build an image that pushes those buttons. Machiavelli wrote that it is not necessary for a ruler to be truly merciful, faithful, or humane. It is only necessary to appear that way when it is useful. The average person hears this and cries manipulation. The strategic mind hears this and understands. Perception is leverage. Dark law number 3. Build a controlled myth around yourself. Decide what you want to be known for. Then repeat it in your behavior until it becomes unquestioned. You do not need everyone to know the full complexity of who you are. In fact, that level of transparency is a liability. You need them to know the version of you that serves your goals. If your power lies in competence, you make sure every interaction displays competence, not chaos. If your power lies in mystery, you reveal little, speak less, and let silence do the work. If your power lies in danger, you let consequences, not arguments, carry your reputation. In a world where everyone is oversharing their weak points to appear authentic, restraint becomes royal. Edit what you show. Curate your presence. Understand that people are lazy thinkers. They do not see you. They see patterns. If the pattern of you is consistently sharp, calm, and unfazed, they will trust that pattern more than any rumor. And once their perception settles, you no longer need to prove yourself every time. Your myth does the heavy lifting. That myth is dark because it is intentional. You are not waiting for people to discover you. You are deciding what they will discover. The fourth dark law is strategic detachment. Emotion is the favorite weapon of manipulators. They will guilt you, flatter you, provoke you, and confuse you just to pull you into their game. If you react, you are already playing on their board. Machiavelli understood that a prince must learn to be not good when goodness threatens his survival. Today, goodness is weaponized emotion. People will tell you that if you cared, you would drop your boundaries. That if you were loyal, you would sacrifice your self-respect. That if you were real, you would always respond. Dark law number 4. Feel everything, but act on almost nothing. You let emotion move through you without letting it decide for you. Detachment is not numbness, it is control. You still feel anger, hurt, attraction, jealousy, but you treat those feelings like weather reports, not commands. When someone humiliates you, your first impulse is to defend yourself publicly. Strategic detachment pauses that impulse. You ask, what strengthens my position long term? Most of the time, silence does more damage than reaction. When someone tries to bait you into an argument, your ego wants to win the small battle. Detachment thinks in campaigns, not skirmishes. You save your energy for moves that shift the overall balance of power, not petty victories. This calm unnerves people. They are used to others collapsing and exploding on cue. When you remain composed, when you refuse to be pulled into every emotional theater, manipulators lose their grip. They cannot steer someone who no longer responds to invisible strings. In that moment, you stop being the puppet and become the unseen hand. The 5th dark law is calculated chaos. Predictability is comfortable, but it is also exploitable. Once people can predict your every reaction, they can control you. They know what to say to win you, what to threaten to freeze you, what to promise to keep you small. Machiavelli advised rulers to be both fox and lion, to know when to be gentle and when to be violent, when to promise and when to betray. The point was not cruelty, it was flexibility. Dark law number 5. You must be capable of breaking your own pattern deliberately. Sometimes you must be kinder than expected, sometimes colder. Sometimes you walk away from what everyone assumed you would cling to. Sometimes you stay when everyone expected you to leave. Not randomly, but strategically. Calculated chaos keeps people slightly off balance. They cannot completely relax around you because they know you do not always do the predictable thing. That uncertainty creates a buffer of respect. It makes them cautious about crossing you because they cannot easily calculate the price. You become a storm with intention, not emotional, but unpredictable by design. That does not mean you become flaky or unstable. Your core values remain consistent, but your methods remain flexible. The world thinks in straight lines. You move in angles. The more they try to pin you down, the more you slip sideways. That is how you avoid being trapped in roles, labels, and expectations that strangle your potential. You are loyal until loyalty becomes a weapon against you. Then you withdraw. You are gentle until gentleness invites abuse. Then you become ice. You build a pattern that says, do not assume you know my next move. That pattern is worth more than charm or talent because it buys you psychological space in every interaction. The 6th dark law is to turn dependency into your silent throne. Machiavelli wrote that a wise ruler must act so that his subjects always need the state and him. That advice applies far beyond kingdoms. In every environment, school, workplace, family, social circle, there is someone everyone subconsciously depends on. It might be the person who always has answers, the one who diffuses conflict, the one with access, the one who solves problems when things fall apart. Dark law number 6. Become that person on purpose. Make yourself so useful, so effective, so quietly central that removing you feels like tearing out a main artery. You do this not through begging for validation, but through consistent results. You become the one who does what others avoid, the one who understands the systems deeper than anyone else, the one who can connect people, resources, and timing. Once people rely on your competence or your presence, you do something crucial. You step back just enough. You do not disappear entirely, but you withdraw small pieces of your involvement so they can fill the gap. That gap becomes your leverage. Dependency is built through contrast, through letting them experience what life feels like without your contribution. Not to punish them, but to anchor your value in their nervous system. From that point, negotiations change. They think twice before disrespecting you. They hesitate before excluding you. Not because you demanded respect, but because losing you would cost them stability. That is how modern power looks. Less bow to me and more. You cannot function properly without me, and we both know it. The seventh dark law is ruthless selection. You cannot get whatever you want if you insist on dragging everyone with you. The brutal truth is that most people in your life are not assets. They are habits. Leftovers from older versions of you that no longer exist. Machiavelli advised princes to avoid flatterers and to surround themselves with capable, frank advisors. Why? Because mediocrity spreads faster than excellence. Dark law number 7. Audit your circle like an emperor checking his counsel for traitors. Who drains you? Who distracts you? Who constantly pulls you back into old patterns, old conversations, old weaknesses? Who gets uncomfortable when you grow? These are not neutral presences. They are anchors. Selection is not about drama. You do not need to explode or announce your departure. You simply redirect your time, attention, and energy toward those who match the level of life you are building. You seek out those who are sharp, ambitious, and self-respecting. People who do not need you to stay small so they can feel big. The darker part of this law is accepting that some of the closest people to you now will not be with you later. They will disqualify themselves. They will mock your new standards. They will accuse you of changing, of thinking you are better. You must let them go without apology. The price of admission to the life you want is that not everyone gets a ticket. Ruthless selection is not cruelty. It is survival. Your future cannot be built on the comfort of those who are committed to their past. The 8th dark law is to treat pain as tuition, not tragedy. Everyone pays for their education and power. Some pay with time, others with embarrassment, betrayal, or public failure. The weak interpret these costs as signs they should quit. The powerful interpret them as the price of entry. Machiavelli respected those who could endure misfortune without breaking. Not because suffering is beautiful, but because suffering reveals structure. Dark law number 8. When something shatters you, resist the urge to make it personal. Make it structural. Do not ask, why me? Ask, what design flaw did this expose in my life, my strategy, my boundaries? When someone cheats you, you redesign how you trust, not whether you trust at all. When a plan collapses, you refine how you plan, not whether you are worthy. When you get publicly humiliated, you upgrade your resilience, not your shame. This mindset turns every wound into data. You become a cold archivist of your own tragedies. You store the lessons, not the self-pity. Pain then stops being something you merely survive and becomes something you invest. Every humiliation buys you a sharper eye. Every loss buys you a better model. Every betrayal buys you a keener read on character. That is why truly powerful people often have dark pasts. They did not escape pain. They reprogrammed it. They made it work for them instead of against them. The 9th dark law is the politics of presence and absence. Power is rhythm. Show up too much and you become background noise. Show up too little and you become irrelevant. Machiavelli warned rulers not to become too accessible. Familiarity breeds contempt. In the modern world, constant availability has been marketed as virtue. Answer every message, attend every event, be always reachable. But the truth is simple. What is always available is rarely respected. Dark law number 9. Turn your presence into a controlled resource. You do not give everyone access. You do not respond instantly. You do not let your time be treated as a free, endless buffet. You appear when it matters most. You say less but make each word heavier. You attend fewer rooms but enter each one with intention. The moment you stop scattering yourself everywhere, your value rises. People start to notice when you are not there. They speak differently when you join. They wait longer for your input. Scarcity amplifies significance. This is not about arrogance. It is about conservation. Your attention is your empire. If anyone can invade it at any time, you have already lost. Make people knock before they enter your mental space. Let them earn your focus. And when you give it sharply, fully, without distraction. Over time, your presence becomes associated with impact, not noise. That association is a form of currency you can spend carefully and profitably. The 10th dark law is perpetual evolution. The moment you become satisfied with who you are, your power begins to rot. Every empire that crumbled did so after it decided it had arrived. Machiavelli taught that fortune destroys those who resist change. Dark law number 10. You must be willing to outgrow even the version of you that wins. Whatever strategy is giving you power today will eventually become predictable, outdated, or overused. If you cling to it out of fear, you will become easy prey for someone who studied you while you were busy celebrating yourself. Perpetual evolution means you never worship your current identity. You treat it as a temporary tool, not a permanent truth. Today, you may be the hungry outsider. Tomorrow, you may be the calm strategist. Later, you may become the unseen architect who moves pieces from the shadows. You allow yourself to mutate roles without losing your core intent. You keep learning, unlearning, and updating your methods like a ruthless scientist. This level of evolution will unsettle people. They will say, "You changed." They will miss the older version of you that was easier to understand, and therefore easier to control. Let them. Their nostalgia is not your responsibility. Your allegiance is to your future, not their comfort. The only constant is your direction, upward, inward, forward. These 10 darkest laws are not about becoming a cartoon villain. They are about waking up from the polite coma that keeps most people broke, powerless, and endlessly apologizing for wanting more. Machiavelli did not create human nature. He simply described it without makeup. People are selfish, afraid, and easily led by perception. You can either be one of the many who are moved by the forces they do not understand, or you can be one of the few who studies those forces and rides them. The choice is not moral. It is practical. Will you keep waiting for the world to reward your innocence, or will you learn to move inside its real rules? If something in you felt exposed while hearing this, good. That discomfort is your old conditioning dying. The part of you that believed you had to stay small to be safe is being dragged into the light. Do not rush back into the fog. Sit with that sharpness. Ask yourself what you truly want and which law you must apply first. Maybe it is detachment. Maybe it is selection. Maybe it is the courage to admit your real ambitions. Whatever it is, start there. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Now. Because nothing changes until you do. And no one is coming to hand you permission. You are the permission. Remember this. The world will call you selfish for putting your vision first. It will call you arrogant for refusing to play small. It will call you cold for not reacting to every emotional demand. Let them talk. Their language is built for spectators, not creators. You are not here to be endlessly understood. You are here to become undeniable. So sharpen your clarity. Guard your perception. Control your presence. Rewrite your myth. And move forward like your victory is already written. Because in a sense, it is. The moment you stop negotiating with your fear and start negotiating with reality, you have already stepped into a different timeline. You do not need to announce that transformation. Let silence carry it. Let your results broadcast it. Let the new gravity around you speak for itself. People will feel it before they understand it. That strange sense that you are no longer asking. You are taking, not from innocence, but from intention. Not from entitlement, but from alignment with the darker, truer laws that have always governed this world. Get whatever you want, not by hoping, begging, or waiting. but by becoming the kind of person reality cannot ignore. That is the quiet, relentless path. That is the Machiavellian way. And if you are still listening, you already know. A part of you has chosen it. There is one more truth you must absorb before you walk away. Darkness, in this sense, is not evil. It is simply everything society told you to ignore so you would remain docile. They wanted you afraid of your own power, ashamed of your own sharpness, suspicious of your own will. Because a person who has forgiven themselves for being ambitious cannot be easily governed. You were trained to equate softness with goodness and edge with danger. But the most dangerous people in your life were never the sharp ones. They were the ones who smiled while secretly resenting you. The ones who claimed to love you while slowly dulling your confidence. The ones who preached morality while hiding their hunger. At least the openly ruthless are honest. You know where they stand. You, on the other hand, are learning something better. How to be sharp without being hollow. How to be strategic without being soulless. The real transformation is not external. It is internal permission. Permission to see people as they are, not as you wish they would be. Permission to treat your time as sacred, not as a dumping ground for other people's chaos. Permission to walk away from those who abuse your loyalty. Permission to speak less and move more. Permission to put your destiny above their expectations. That permission will feel heavy at first. You will question yourself. You will be tempted to go back to softness, to over-explaining, to shrinking, so no one feels threatened. That is the final test. The world will always try to bargain you down to the smallest version of yourself that still serves its needs. Your job is to refuse the discount. You are not a clearance item. You are not an accessory to someone else's story. You are the main architect of your own. So take these laws not as quotes to memorize, but as lenses to see through. Start noticing how often people respond to perception instead of truth. Start noticing how much of your exhaustion comes from trying to save those who do not want to stand. Start noticing how different you feel when you hold your ground instead of rushing to justify it. Let that awareness change your posture, one situation at a time. You do not need to become a monster. You only need to stop acting like prey. Because in the end, the darkest thing you can do in a world that profits from your confusion is to become clear, calm, and unmovable. When you do that, you are no longer merely surviving inside someone else's system. You have begun, quietly and absolutely, to rule. You will not get a certificate for this shift. No applause will echo the night you finally decide to stop chasing and start choosing. There will be no trumpet blast when you cut the last thread of needing their approval. It will be simple and almost quiet. One day, someone will test your boundaries in the same way they always have, and instead of folding, you will hold. Instead of explaining, you will state. Instead of arguing, you will exit. And in that moment, the old version of you will die a small, silent death. No one will mourn it, because they never valued it as much as you did. But you will feel something crack open inside your chest, a strange mix of grief and liberation. That feeling is your initiation into a different life. One where you are not endlessly waiting to be chosen. One where you choose yourself first, and from that strength, decide who, if anyone, earns a place beside you. Stay with that path. It will cost you illusions, but it will give you reality. It will strip away comfortable lies, but it will hand you the raw, dangerous truth of what you are capable of when you stop apologizing for wanting more. And when the world calls you dark for following these laws, smile quietly. They do not understand. You are not dark. You are just done playing blind. And people who have been raised in darkness will always fear the one who walks with their eyes open. This is where your real life finally begins. Right now.